Hey everyone! So, I guess it came true for the next video being with Rhykker. So this is Rhykker. Say hi to everyone. I know you don't understand. What? You can see the black camera though, huh? I guess when they're really small and they're newborns, they only can see black and white, which I didn't know. So he's probably seeing the contrast between the black camera and the white wall. Huh? So I'm going to talk a little bit about my labor and delivery best I can, holding this little guy because he's a little fussy. He's not a fussy baby, but he sometimes thinks that he got enough to eat and then realized that, oh no, I didn't. So he's gonna want to eat again in a second, which I don't mind. Huh? So it started on last Friday, a week and 3 days ago. I woke up and it was about 11ish. I was having a really hard time sleeping that night, so I decided to just sleep in because I was having mild contractions all night. And at my doctor's appointment that Friday, or that Thursday, they were mentioning how they couldn't believe I didn't go into labor yet because not only was I late, but I was also, you listening to me talk? Hi. But I was also still dilated 2.5 centimeters, and my everything was completely, like, I was 100% effaced, and my doctor was really surprised that I didn't feel any gushes of water or anything like that. So when I woke up Friday, I was not feeling good at all. I was still having mild contractions, but I thought they were false because that's what I was getting for so long. And then I realized that I felt a huge pop, like this weird pop, like a ton of balloons in my butt crotch area just blew up and bursted, and I quickly got up out of bed and ran to the bathroom, and I yelled on the way there. I think my water broke because my husband was on his computer. He of course freaked out and started grabbing things that we needed, and I of course ran into the bathroom and brushed my teeth, you know, and whatnot, and checked it to make sure it was fluid. The thing I was worried about is I've always heard of meconium, which is the baby's first bowel movement. It's kind of like a dark, kind of tar-like stuff, right? Yeah. And I saw a little bit of that on my pad. I know that's TMI, but that's what happened. And it kind of worried me because I know that it can be kind of risky having that in your fluid. So I made sure I quickly ran to the hospital right there. I didn't, you know, wait too long. I brushed my teeth, but that took 2 seconds. I got dressed really quick and then ran into the car. The car ride there was really irritating because there was so many slow people, and I was so frustrated, and I was worried about getting there and just wanting everything to start. Once I got there, they had everything all set up because I did talk to them. I made sure I called them so that they would have things set up, and they did, like, as soon as I got there, which was 20 minutes, or not even 20 minutes, it was like maybe 15 minutes, and they had everything set up for me. So I got in there, they had me put on a Johnny, and they checked me to make sure it was fluid, and it was. My water did break, and then they set me up with an IV and everything. I did have Pitocin, which I didn't really want, but I guess they have to give it to every patient now because it minimizes blood loss, and because of the fact that I did have meconium in my body and whatnot, it can make you bleed more, I guess. So just to make sure, they wanted to give me that and help with my contracting back of my uterus. So by the time they got all that set up and drew my blood and all that, you know, good stuff, my mom finally got there, and so did my mother-in-law, so that was good because I had a great support from them. They had me sit on the ball. It's okay. So they had me sit on the exercise ball for a couple hours, and just to kind of ease my pain because of the fact that I was dilated for so long, for so many weeks, and by the time my water did break, my body kicked into full force and went crazy, and my contractions came super fast. And plus with the Pitocin, it added more you know, full forceness, I guess, to, you know, strength to the contractions, and I started getting them faster and faster, way sooner than I ever thought I would, you know, how it would ever go. So that was kind of weird, but good at the same time, because I really wanted to just have him out and have the pain gone, because it was pretty intense contractions. A lot of that is a fog, and I know I just remember being super hungry and terrible pain and wanting an epidural, but I knew that that's not what was in my goal for my labor and delivery, so I kept telling myself, no, like, I don't need that. So I ended up just, you know, fighting through it and fighting through the pain, even though I know that it was excruciating. And also the fact that my cervix was on the side of his head, kind of up to the side. They wanted me on the ball too, to kind of position his head a little bit better so that way he could come out easier. Once I was done kind of on the ball and I had that feeling to push, I ended up laying in the bed, which was the worst thing ever. I know that I needed to, because that's how you deliver, but it was probably more excruciating laying in the bed. But they put a cold cloth on my head, they had me drinking some water, and, you know, just preparing me to be able to push. My doctor came in and I got the strongest urge to push, and it's like so hard to explain, but it's like the weirdest feeling. It's almost like you have to go to the bathroom, you know, number 2, but it's more intense than that, and it's just that you need to kind of push something out of your body, and it's to the extreme. Like, if you don't push, you literally, like, it's almost like your body doesn't even give you that option to not push. Like, you have to push. And so once she came in, she was all, you know, geared up to go, and told me, all right, come on, you know, push. I wasn't in labor and delivery for very long. My entire labor lasted only 4 hours, and then he was born, so that was good. I went in about 11:25 to 11:30, and he was delivered at 2:49 p.m. that evening. So it was really quick, and it went super fast, kind of like a super crazy blur, but I do remember all of it, and I'm glad that I didn't get any, well, I got Pitocin, but any epidurals or anything that to make me foggy or hazy, because I was still able to experience everything. Even though I went through a lot of pain, I was still able to, you know, kind of remember everything. And they had options like seeing the top of his head and stuff, which I kind of could still when I was like pushing, you know, you kind of like can still see in your crotch, but I don't know, I couldn't touch his head, I couldn't do any of that. It was just kind of weird for me. So it's okay, Mom will feed you in a second, okay? So after that was done, he finally arrived, and I was so excited. It was just like the best feeling ever. The pain is gone, you know, you have your beautiful baby, and they had to take him away really quick, and it was just the table right next to me. My husband went over there and was taking pictures, so I'll end up posting them after, you know, all my pictures and stuff. And they had to quickly clean him up because of the meconium that was in my fluid, and make sure there was nothing in his throat. He did swallow some, and it got into some of his lungs, but it wasn't that big of a deal. He ended up spitting it up, most of it, through the period of days that I was there at the hospital. I did have to stay there longer than I thought. I thought I was only going to stay there for about 24 hours, maybe a little bit more. I ended up staying there for 2.5 days, about, roughly. And it was kind of rough because by the end of the day, or by the end of the last day, I was really frustrated because You have so many people coming in and out asking you questions, and everyone was so wonderful there and so helpful. They helped me out with so many things. I had a hard time going to the bathroom myself for the first few times because I couldn't get out of bed very well. I had quite a bit of stitches and I was in terrible pain as far as my muscles and everything down there, so I had a hard time getting out of the bed. So I had a lot of help from the nurses and family members and stuff, of course. But by the end of the last day, you just get frustrated. You're asked so many questions, and even though you have all the help, you have times where you just want to be with your baby and not have to worry about the nurses taking him or doing tests and all that stuff, because they did that a lot. And nursing, it's like you just want to find your own kind of way of nursing, you know, take the tips that they tell you, but still find a way that works for both of you and your baby. And we found a way now, and things are great. He's latched, you know, in the hospital right away, pretty much. Not quite the first day he was born, but the second day he latched right away. And he did end up having a little bit of formula because he wasn't getting enough of my meconium, and my milk wasn't coming in, you know, right away. So he had a little bit of formula because he was actually losing weight, and they were really worried about it. So I was worried too. So I was like, it's okay, you know, it's just a little bit of formula. It's not going to hurt him. It'll just, you know, kind of help him out for a little while. So by the time everything was done, you get asked so many things, and you know, they do give you a lot of help, and, you know, they send you home with a little care package and all that stuff. You know, even though I appreciate it, I was so happy to be home. I got home Sunday evening, and I was so sore. I couldn't put my feet up on the couch. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't sleep in bed. It was awful. And even though I was glad to be out of the hospital bed because they're hard as a rock, like they were not comfortable, my butt was numb half the time. And I mean, I can't really sit on my crotch, so I had to sit on my butt a lot, and it just gets really irritating. Then about, I want to say, a couple nights, I was able to finally sleep in my bed, and it was kind of difficult at first because I was trying to find a comfortable spot, and I had to wake up a lot because he was in the napper next to me, and he was not a fan of that. He did not want to be in the napper, so he slept most of the night, and he, you know, a good 3 hours, but during feeding times you could just tell that he was just a little frustrated, and I think it's just because he didn't want to be away from me. And so I ended up feeding him and then just sleeping with him right there, and he slept a lot better, and he woke up, like, seemed more happier, and he latched like right away. So I've been trying to sleep with him in our bed because even though my husband's a little worried about rolling over on him, I kind of position him in a way on the other side so that way he's safe, and my husband, you know, doesn't feel like he's going to squash him even though he wouldn't, you know. It's kind of a parent intuition, you know, you kind of feel where your boundaries are when you're sleeping. So things have been going really well. Breastfeeding is great. So I mean, it's painful, I will admit that, but it's going great, and I am just so thrilled and happy to be a mom. You do get a lot of times where you're just a little, you know, frustrated and tired out because you wake up a lot more than you normally would, but I certainly don't mind at all. I sleep, you know, when I do sleep, like the 3 hours in between, I sleep really, really well, and he always sleeps at least 3 hours and then he'll feed. So he's really great at that. He rarely cries. It's like for a good reason. Like right now he's just, you know, well, he's fell asleep actually, but in the beginning of the video he, you know, like I said, forgets how much he really wants, you know, to eat, and then he'll pop off, and so I think he's done. But I'll probably, you know, feed him a little bit more soon. But he's a great, great little baby, and I am so happy to have him in my life. Like, just thinking back with the times of not having him, like I had a great life without him, but now that I have him, it's just, you know, he's my perfect little boy, and I'm so happy. So there's one thing that worried me and has been worrying me for a little while, but a lot of people and the pediatrician and everything said don't worry about it too much because the way things are going with it, it's not that big of a deal. But I don't know if you noticed, he only had one eye open in the beginning of the video. I could probably show you again before I end this video, but one of his eyes, his right one, right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, his right eye it doesn't open fully, and for a while he wasn't opening it at all, and then now he's just kind of slightly opens it here and there. They said that it could either have been the fact that he was in my pelvis for so long, he was in there for over a month, and it could have been squashed up against something, and he the muscles are just weak and he needs to strengthen them. And they also said it could just be the fact that it's swollen and irritated from, you know, just being an infant, because infants end up being, you know, having swollen faces and stuff when they're born. So it could be that, but he is working on it and he's opening it a lot more. I've been using a little bit of breast milk to rub like on it for antibacterial, because they mentioned that was good for it, and that's actually been helping. So that's the only like major worry. He's gained his weight back, so that was good. He went down to, he was 6'7" when he was born, and 21.5 inches long, and he went down to 5'13", which kind of worried me, but they said don't worry, you know, he'll gain it back as long as you have your your milk in and you're breastfeeding good. And his latch is good, so everything was good with that, and he ended up, within a couple days, he ended up gaining back to 6 pounds 4 ounces, so that was good. I was so glad for that. So he's doing really well, and I'm so glad to be a mom. It's tough at times, I will say, especially having a newborn, but I'm, you know, perfectly happy to do what I can for him. So I'm going to show you some pictures and a few things that I think I have a small video. I didn't really video anything or videotape anything because, you know, you're just in the moment. I didn't realize how much pain I would be in. I knew that my family members wouldn't really do any videos, but my mom ended up doing a small video when I first got to hold Rhykker for the very first time, so I'll put that clip in. Because I can show you a belly shot, or, you know, like postpartum belly shot. I was kind of skeptic on this just because I do have stretch marks and I was kind of frustrated about them, but they are turning more purple, which means they're healing, and I've been using zinc on them, which has helped them a lot. The redness and everything was, you know, is disappearing, and they're shrinking, and that with coconut oil I feel like is helping out a lot. So let me show you that really quick, and then I will show you the pictures and stuff of Rhykker. This is my little boy, and I wanted to show you guys, you know, a special gift that was given to me and, you know, kind of show him off a little bit because I'm really proud of him, and, you know, just so glad that, you know, I have this little guy to take care of and to love forever and ever. My little baby. So I'm not going to be able to show you his eye because he's not opening it because he's sleeping. But hopefully you guys saw it in the beginning. And if not, we have pictures as well that show that his one little eye is just open. So enjoy the pictures and enjoy, I guess, the postpartum belly shot. I don't know. And I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye. So this is the belly for a week and 3 days. So it's gone down a lot, but I still do have a little bit left to get rid of, which I've been using a support band. It's actually a workout support band, but it's been working really well. Along with that is like the breastfeeding and what I've been eating has helped a lot. So drinking a ton of water. So that's it from the front. I don't know if you guys can tell from the other side. So I got a little bit to go, but not as much as I know most people do. So I'm not going to show my bare belly just because I'm not comfortable with it. So I hope you guys understand. But yeah, that is the postpartum 1 week and 3 day belly.
Yep, there we go. It's all right now.
What causes birthmarks?
It's on record, Ariel, just so you can have some recording.
Oh, baby.
I know.
You're gonna hear this activate.
Hey.
It's okay, baby. I know.
Beautiful long eyelashes.
I know. Did Brian when he was a baby? Yeah. He has long eyelashes now.
Sorry, Debbie wants to get a view of you right here. Sorry. He's just gonna try to get him just.
It's okay.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to clip something you don't want to.
Nope.
It's okay, baby. Shh.
Yeah. He has my monkey feet.